No idea why I didn't do that sooner. That's something I used to do at like a workplace of mine. People loved it. They thought it was hilarious. That's the new greeting. Anyway, I just got done watching Lightyear. There's been a lot of films this year that I would say is kind of like, oh, it's my most anticipated of the year. A Toy Story themed film is usually my most anticipated film of the year. It has been with every previous Toy Story film. Well, 4, because I didn't really think about what my most anticipated movies were anytime before that, I guess. But like, there's been a lot of movies I've been really looking forward to, and Lightyear isn't really a Toy Story movie as such, more of a sort of a spin-off, reboot, prequel kind of thing. But we're going to talk about it today. I'm going to review it, and of course, if you are new to this channel, please do consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell icon. And if you've done it already, like this video and join the cult of Channel Pup by checking the Patreon link in the description below and becoming a Poible. Satisfaction guaranteed. Can't guarantee the satisfaction of viewers. So Lightyear, hell yeah, I was looking forward to this film, but there were definitely some things I was a little hesitant towards as well. I think naturally, when you're digging up these Toy Story characters, which mean the absolute world to me, are my most valued fictional characters of all time, the ones that sit absolute closest to my heart. Yes, even eclipsing Spider-Man. I'm gonna want to feel confident that they're gonna be handled with care, and when it comes to a studio like Pixar, yeah, I'm pretty confident in that. And the trailers looked really cool, but there were definitely some things in there that concerned me. So, how did Lightyear shape up? First things first, no, this is not a Toy Story film. It's a Buzz Lightyear film, but it's not a film about the Buzz Lightyear that is in Toy Story. The characterization here is quite different. This is a different take on the character. In the universe of Toy Story, I guess this is the film that the toy of Buzz Lightyear was based on, and it's the film that would spawn the Buzz Lightyear mega franchise. So I guess I was wrong about, like, this being a film that Buzz Lightyear Star Command was based on, and that the Buzz Lightyear in the Toy Story films would be based on that version of Buzz Lightyear. I'm not going to explain how yet, but we do have kind of a definitive answer that yes, this is the film that inspired the toy of Buzz Lightyear that we see in the Toy Story films. But this is a separate entity. So while it's not a Toy Story film, I'm also going to say this, it's not as iconic as the Toy Story films, probably won't be as memorable as the Toy Story films, and that's fine. Those films are pop culture giants. The world of Toy Story is the world that sits closest to my heart. The Buzz Lightyear that we saw in Toy Story is the Buzz Lightyear that will naturally sit closest to my heart. This was all expected, and I do not in any way hold that against this film. I do not for a second take for granted the fact that the other characters in the Lightyear movie don't live up to necessarily like the character of Woody, for example, because that is an absolute masterclass in characterization. There's good stuff here, but you're comparing absolute lightning in a bottle to really compelling, well-done characterization. This doesn't mean that there aren't little echoes and parallels to Toy Story either. Obviously, as we've seen in some of the trailers and clips, there are definite quotes from the Toy Story films in here, which is presumably where the Buzz of the Toy Story universe got those from. It is hard to talk about this film in reference to Toy Story in universe. But like also Buzz as a character in this one. This is his origin story. He's not a perfect, endlessly lovable space ranger just yet. This is a flawed character, which is really great, as I don't know if the endlessly lovable Buzz from the films could necessarily carry a film all by himself. It's why that dichotomy of Buzz and Woody works so well. So without Woody, how do you make Buzz Lightyear work? Well, in short, they made him a bit more like Woody. I thought his characterization definitely reminded me a little bit of Woody as well. That very sort of overconfident leadership, that sort of my way or the highway mentality that Woody has. Woody can be kind of a stuck-up jerk, and that's why we love him. And there's definitely elements of that in Lightyear with Buzz. He's a very by-the-book kind of leader, which of course leads to mistakes. But like Woody, he's someone who holds himself to account. He wants to make things right. Another sort of loose parallel, and I do get the sense that this was probably intentional, was Buzz's lovable sidekick character, Socks the cat. I guess it makes sense because Socks is kind of like a toy. Well, more of a resource, but like, he's kind of like a toy cat that comes to life. It's kind of like a toy coming to life kind of thing. I don't know if that was an intentional nod to Toy Story, but I was like, okay, that's a tasteful way of handling it. So the story is that in an act of self-overestimation, Buzz Lightyear gets his team stranded on a foreign planet. He made a mistake and he is hell-bent on making it right. He wants to unlock the key to hyperspeed so he can get his crew home. But every time he tests that hyperspeed, obviously there's time dilation. While he's out in space, What is 4 minutes to him is 4 years to them back down on the planet. So naturally, as more and more time goes by, his crew start making lives of their own on this new planet, while Buzz is still hell-bent on finishing the mission, correcting his mistake. And bottom line, that is the main theme of this film. This film is all about failure and allowing yourself to grow from that failure, adapting to the situation, making the best of it. That's what kind of Buzz Lightyear needs to overcome. He needs to overcome that sense of initial guilt and not fixate on the fact that he made that mistake. And obviously because of the time dilation as well, we're seeing Buzz Lightyear among new space rangers, among a new team, a new generation that does things differently to how he did them. So you've got that kind of mega fish out of water story. This is a fish that accidentally blew itself out of the water, blew all of its fishy friends out of the water, fixated on the fact that it blew all of its friends out of the water while all of its fishy friends eventually died of old age, and now has to get used to a new generation of fish that have learned to walk on land. But we of course see these fish kind of wrangling with their own mistakes and failures as well, and how they kind of all learn from each other, and how mistakes feel different when the mistake is yours. How you're kind of always gonna be your own worst critic in these situations. And the way that narrative is crafted with that theme, and the way that it ties into Zurg, and I'm not gonna reveal how, but the parallels between Buzz Lightyear and Zurg are really, really smartly crafted. In a way that, on paper, felt like, no, just why are you doing that? When I first saw how this played out, I was like, what's... I'm not sure about that. But then how things played out over the remaining course of the film was really clever and really tightly crafted. So my concern from the trailers was, one, I felt like they were leaning a little too hard into comedy. The initial teasers had quite a serious tone to them, and I thought a serious tone would work well for a Buzz Lightyear movie. But then we had clips get revealed with like the rookie and him giving Buzz Lightyear these soppy doughy eyes, and we saw more of like the new crew, and you had Taika Waititi's very quirky character, and I was like, okay, they're leaning into that sort of sharp, fast-paced comedy that like the first Toy Story kind of went for. I'm pleased to report that while that does play quite a big role in the marketing, in general it's mainly just at the beginning of the film, and the comedy is quite healthily distributed. Do I think it could have survived with a little less of that? Sure. But at the same time, it definitely fits into that mold of like the family film, and I can tell that a lot of families are going to have a lot of fun with this film. And this film is ideal for families because it's really briskly paced. Like, the pacing is really solid. There were no points where I felt, oh god, this is moving too fast. There were no points where I thought, man, this is dragging on. It was just right, and that's something I think Pixar has mastery over. And there weren't really any moments where the comedy killed the mood, and I was really pleased to see that this film did have very mature themes to it. Like, this is a film that will connect with adults. While there are a lot of ha-ha-ha-a's and funnies here and there, this film is still mature. It absolutely appeals to adults, which is something I wasn't taking too much for granted, but I was really hoping for. Then there's Socks the Cat, which was the main cause of all of my concern from all of the marketing material. A lot of movies, and a lot of sort of Disney movies as well, are kind of known for this, have what I refer to as the marketing scrimblow, the lovable animal sidekick, the one that you're going to see on the memes, the one that will sell the merch. And I always thought that Pixar did quite a good job of kind of steering clear of characters that feel like they solely fit that purpose. And Socks the Cat was absolutely ringing alarm bells for me. Like, this is the character that the internet's gonna love. And while I think there's definitely an element to that in the final product, ultimately Socks was a welcome addition. I'll say this, he absolutely feels studio mandated, but it feels like a lot of care went into crafting him. Like, I'm certain there was some Disney exec that was like, oh hey, can we give Buzz Lightyear a funny cat sidekick? I have not a doubt in my mind that that happened, but I get the feeling that the writers, the director, everyone came together and they were like, how can we make this work? How can we make this meaningful? And that's how you end up with Socks, who makes the best of a bad situation, which is what this film's all about. Socks is a really cool way of tapping into Buzz Lightyear's sense of sort of humanity as well, his more sensitive side. Like, Buzz Lightyear's pretty laser focused on the mission. While everyone else is now living their lives and moving on, Buzz Lightyear is like a machine. He's working like clockwork. And so he becomes kind of detached from his humanity, but he does connect with Socks, who was made for Buzz by Hawthorne to kind of combat that loneliness. I can also safely say that Socks was essential to the film, and yeah, given that this film is quite a mature, quite a serious film, I think Socks actually worked quite well in breaking that up, so I must admit, hats off to you. you made socks work. But don't let that be an encouragement for marketing scrimblows. I'd say the character of Buzz Lightyear is absolutely marketable enough without a lovable cat sidekick, but I am surprised to see that the box office numbers haven't been excellent for this one. It's gone below projections. It's successful enough so far, it's doing okay, but it's not like, you know, doing what they wanted it to. Not flopping, but underperforming. And I've seen that response to this one has been fairly lukewarm as well. And I think there are elements to that which I can understand. I saw Saber Sparks' review of Lightyear, and it was apparent that he wasn't very happy with the film. He was hoping for much more of a large-scale space opera rather than this film that we got here. He wanted sci-fi camp, he wanted lots of different planets and worlds. This film takes place on just the one planet. It's pretty small scale, particularly when compared to, say, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. However, keep in mind that this is an origin story for Buzz Lightyear. These are kind of the building blocks of Star Command and the Space Ranger Corps. And it's a story just about Buzz mainly himself. So if you can roll with that, I think Lightyear's absolutely worth checking out, but if you wanted something that goes bigger, more campy, more over the top, then maybe this one isn't for you. I've also seen a lot of critics on Rotten Tomatoes lambasting the film because, oh, it doesn't make you cry like a Pixar movie. A film doesn't have to make you cry for it to be meaningful and for it to be as good as other Pixar entries. However, there were some very strong emotional beats that I could probably see some people weeping over. On a whole, it's an uplifting space adventure with Buzz Lightyear, and that's all I needed it to be. It's a very thoughtful adaptation of this character. It's a really smartly crafted story, and I, for one, can't recommend it enough. My concerns about some of the marketing were definitely put to bed, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I highly recommend you'll get out there and see it for yourself. Hell yeah, Lightyear, sick movie, loved it. But it's not as good as the greatest movie ever made, so 0 out of 10. So what do you guys think? If you enjoyed this video and you want to support more like it, be sure to hit that big, beautiful subscribe button. And of course, in the description below are links to different social media feeds, including the Patreon. If you're feeling extra generous, like the following people, who are Marcus Ward, Sirius the Skeptic, Biotinarts, Mr. SP, David 20 Covers, Sergio, John Comey, Shodin, George is Lost, Legendary Ray Ray, Cheesemaster769, Adam Myers, and Fayalan Schwarzentraub. Thank you guys, you are the best of the best, but as for the rest of you, thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day. Welcome